There is Phil. Great to see him. I think it's going to be really interesting just to see how he kind of adapts. He is the ultimate club player. There's no one who's won more tournaments in club tournaments than Phil Harrison. He is a demon when it comes to playing in that very specific scenario that so many players play in. But when it comes to, you know, the TV lights, the cameras, the match clock, the shot clock, that's when, at least Phil believes, that almost the cards start to stack against him in the deck.
But this is where the tournament turns into an arena tournament away from the club. I know it's in the club, but there are no more matches to be played away from this table.
Yeah.
Every session from here on in will be out there. And but with Phil, Phil's won tournaments in this environment plenty of times. It's just, you know, he's kind of almost got that reputation of being the club king of the clubs, really. So fascinating matchup, this one, and we will see 13 frames now in the first session. Still 50 minutes, but we're looking at 13 frames because it's now a race to 14. Just that extra increase. It'll be a race to 14 in the semis, a race to 15 in the final. And it is Ian now with the first opportunity.
Should just probably update. I've just popped out of the studio just for a quick moment there, and who do I see wandering around? 𝗠𝗁𝗃𝗵𝗵, which makes me think that he's had some
13-6, I can just see it.
Bad news, yeah. Chris Melling has hit the tape to get over the line, so Chris Melling into the quarterfinals of the Masters, and that is a name that sort of looms large in the draw. Craig Waddingham already 1-0 up on Kyle Cope. Maybe Craig Waddingham and Chris Melling are on a collision course once again. They met in the semi-final of last year's tournament.
Highly likely to be our last session tonight, even though that's quarterfinal 3, just because of the way that the Craig Waddingham, Kyle Cope section of the draw has gone. A couple of things have held that one up, so we're looking at some late night action from Chris Melling, which is always entertaining. It was last night. We're going to have it again tonight, but we'll update you on the full order. We do know the first 2 matches for certain, just how the last 2 will play out.
Yeah, likely to be Christophe Lambert playing in that 3rd match. Takes on the winner of Aaron Davis and Josh Juhas. Aaron has gone 10-6 in front. If Josh is to turn that around, sort of needs to start doing it right about now.
Couldn't get any closer than this for Ian, so he's got to cue this one in. He hasn't.
Oh, I'm surprised by that. Those are the sorts of shots that you really set your watch by when you think of Ian Ali.
Yeah, you don't expect him to miss anything really like that. And this is where does the last match, you know, he was always in front against Tom, and obviously it's a big story because it's against Tom, although I often think that Ian doesn't really think of things in those terms. He backs himself against everybody in the world, and he couldn't care what the rankings are and who's won what. But, you know, the comeback was on. He was put through it a little bit. He held his nerve at the end. You know, he's had, what, 15 minutes, maybe 20 since that match has finished, and straight back on here, which is a little bit tight, you'd say, in terms of Phil's had plenty of time. He finished a long time ago with a more comfortable victory in the last 16. Phil's gone through this nicely, so it will be a strong start here for the farmer. First visit and first frame. Race to 13 frames in this session, excuse me. So a long, long way to go, and I think this will ebb and flow. I do think we're going to see at some point in this match Ian just get onto a little bit of a streak and put a pack together. Do you feel that Phil's gone through this tournament fairly quietly? First round, Mike Walker 13-3. Second round, Anthony Banner 13-2. And he had a tough match this morning. This was where it really ramped up for him. He had Phil Parkin 6-6 at the break. He ended up winning 13-9 as we see him going off his first break, which is definitely something to keep an eye on. With Phil, he will change if he feels he's losing control of the cue ball, slow it down to get that control. But following that Phil Parkin victory, he then had to go back on in the last 16, and the reason he had a really nice break, whereas Ian Ali didn't, is he had a very comfortable victory. 13-3 over Sean Ash. So he's had time to reset and get some fresh air and come back in. So very comfortable so far. It's quite a lot of frames for and not very many against, isn't it? Yeah, my maths, my crude maths, 52 frames for, and what's that against? 17, I think. That's quite
That's
a
not bad
good
going.
ratio.
Yeah, not bad going at all.
This could be where Ian starts, though. He's in prime position. There's no reason not to get out here and get that first frame on the board. Pretty sure it's a full pocket top left. Might have just half a jaw blocked, but shouldn't be any reason why he doesn't get right behind it. So this should be done for frame 2.
Is Ian Ali, and that will make him feel a little bit better, particularly given what happened in that first frame. 1-1 in the early going. Did, for me, put in one of the best tournaments we've seen all year. Didn't win it, but was utterly spectacular in that very first Ultimate Pool Pro Series of 2025. Huge comeback victories over Tom Cousins, Shane Thompson, before eventually succumbing in the final to an absolutely spectacular performance from Aaron Davies, despite himself playing wonderfully well. Oh, what a break. Can't break him much better than that if your name's Ian Ali. That's pretty perfect.
It is. Where's his starter? What's he thinking here? Easy red to start if he wants it. Does he want reds or does yellow's better? Can he get through to play the yellow? Can. Maybe yellows are the way here. Yeah, he could. And he can develop the one on the cushion as well, which may have compromised position here. If he's not on the gap to the one nearest the left centre, and he has a problem. Yeah, just get through, put it in the top of the pocket as we look here from the main camera angle. One more really good positional shot just to make it absolutely certain, but there really shouldn't be any issues here. Decided not to do anything, decided to accept what he had and plays up the table. If he's absolutely straight, he's not going to get close to his next ball. He'll just have to drop it in, but I think he's got that half a turn of angle, which means he drifts down and he's going to be right behind it. I think this is perfect. It certainly is. Very nice for Ian. Very nice. He now goes in front, back to back off the break. Reverse clearance, break clearance. He's that sort of player that puts runs together. I said it at the start that I could definitely see him putting 2s, 3s, 4s, 5s together. Be interesting to see what Phil decides to do on his second break. Kind of has two ways of going. He goes extreme power when he stands up on it, but he can lose the cue ball, or he slows it down and goes for control. The first one, he lost control. Does he stick with plan A, or does he slow it down to get the control on the cue ball? We'll know very shortly. It's the control. It's the control break, and that is beautiful. That's the one, Phil. Not sure he can see a yellow to go yellows. So the question is, does the red pass the yellow to top left? If it does, then these reds are glorious. If it doesn't, then he's got a bit of a problem. Looks like it does. He's playing it. Yeah, no issues. This is a great layout. Red at the bottom, I'm sure, passes to bottom left. So you'd expect Phil. I'm a big fan of not giving the players the frames before they've won them, but this is a very good layout for a player at Phil's level. The only shot he really needs to be careful on is the transition. Red above the 8 ball is fine, but you don't want to be playing it from too high where the yellow's in play. You want to get down just above straight on it. So the only shot that could really go wrong. That is perfect. Just use the side cushion. Could go down direct if he wants to, but use the side cushion with a little bit of right-hand side. Track the line perfectly. You see the side just grab when it hit the cushion. Simple 8 ball. I think we could be in for a treat here, Stephen. Both players now, after
They've settled, haven't they?
Yeah, the first frame was a chance apiece. Since then, it's 3 straight off the break.
Which feels a little bit more what we thought we might get.
I think we'll see more of this for sure. I really do. I think both players are just going to play this level. I think there'll be a frame, there'll be a moment, there'll be something, of course, but by and large, I'm expecting to see a very high standard for the whole quarter-final lineup. You don't make the quarter-finals of the Masters without playing brilliant ball.
Yeah, agreed. Agreed.
Aaron Davies is still in front, but Josh Duaz is battling. 10-7 now in that match.
Frame 5, let's break. 2 frames on.
Nice smile from Ian. It's a good break, but not a good leave. He'd be more than happy with reds, so the right smile tells me that he can't clip the red he's next to win. Too close, he might even be touching. I don't think he is. I think he's too close to do anything but with it. So he doesn't have a starter. If he's touching ball, there may be some clever shots out there, because he's essentially deemed he can nominate. If he was touching ball, he could nominate red to play yellow to pot a red. But I don't really think, well, I don't think he is, and I don't think there's any good options for that. So he's just played red off yellow. Fabulous. Bold.
Well, bold, I was just about to say that. Great minds. Bold really is, I think, the one word I think of when I think about Ian Ali. He is so bold and brave. There's just no give whatsoever in the way he goes about his game. It is come hell or high water. He will take it on. Always for that reason. Fantastic value to watch.
Well, loose one. By the looks of his body language tells me that's a loose one. I'm not sure he's gone far enough up to be on the red at the top of the table. Just wanted to be able to pot it and just drift back out, and then looking at the long plant, or if he can get to the one over the pocket, direct. So now that he has to come back up for that red, a real problem ball actually, even though it's hanging pretty close to the pocket. The reason it's a problem ball is he might not get good on, even if he gets up there and gets on it, his chances to get nicely onto the next ball is much slower, so could be a quite big mistake potentially building here. Looks like he's going up for it last ball, which means he's got to play off the 8 on the 8 ball off it. That isn't going to be easy. He's on it this time. Just accepting what he's got. Missed a ball in the opening frame. That's the only mistake from either player in the match so far. Similar sort of complexity to this one. Normally rock solid. And he remains rock solid. Very, very good that from Ian. Another break clearance.
Another one, rack it up. He looks really dialed in, does Ian Ali. Even the way he's sitting in his chair, he's really uber focused. Perhaps I won't be too disturbed. Long, long way to go yet.
3 frames to 2.
Ian once again against first go. Quite like Red's here. You surely think he'll save the one closest to the middle pocket for sort of simple access to the 8-ball. So we're going to go top to bottom. 8-ball waiting via the 1 to the middle pocket.
Pointed his cue a minute ago at the red in the triangle area. I'm assuming that goes right centre. If it doesn't, then just slightly awkward. And it didn't, so we had to just screw it out. Not a major problem, just a bit more mileage on the cue ball. You can see the way that Ian thinks, and you know, it's good pattern play. You know, that the obvious ball to be on the red for the 8-ball is the one left centre, but the yellows guard it. So the obvious ball to be on this one was the one he's just played, and he's worked everything around being straight in on that ball, and he did really well to get there. Still have to still have to execute the 8-ball though. Not a guarantee, but his last 8-ball was a brilliant one, and so is this one.
Yeah, very good.
And this is what Ian can do. You know, this is what I talk about with him. And Streaky's probably doing him a disservice because he's just a great player. But he made a mistake in the opening frame, hasn't bothered him. Since then, he's done 4 straight visits to the table. Nothing you can do when Phil breaks and clears in the middle of it, but in terms of his own opportunities, just keep churning it out. Keeping an eye on the scores, 𝗏𝗏 𝗏 continues to fight. Great match with Aaron Davies brewing there. 10-9 now. Bubbling up nicely. What was it, 10-6 when Aaron got... It was 9-6, wasn't it? And then he got to 10-6, now 10-9.
Probably deserves a ball. He's going to get one. He's going to get one. Seems to be almost urging it in. Bottom right, as we look at it here, he's giving it the nod. And a good chance. Breaking big so far is the fave.
Big problem ball to deal with. Now's the time. It's gone safe up the table as well, or has it? Looked like it was going to flick behind the yellows, but it's just moved the yellow enough. Might be enough room to drop that in, but he's not on either of the reds to top right by the looks of things. So even if that red goes, he's nowhere. This might be the first time since frame 1 where we don't get a clearance from the break.
Or is it?
Oh, come on. What a shot that is. Ridiculous. And he's on the red to left centre by the looks of things. Very, very special.
Grimace from Ian Ali, but you'd always rather be here.
Oh, without a shadow of a doubt.
I mean, that's a pretty extraordinary shot. It's wobbled in, but I mean, he's hit that cleaner line.
Yeah, it's just a spin that was transferred, just turned it in for him.
Tracks it forward a fraction just to separate the cue ball from the yellows, to make this shot as sort of accessible to the centre of the cue ball as he could.
I think there's also, he might have had to turn that in. He might have just had to turn it in a touch, and he didn't want to have to, couldn't play it with any pace then. So that's probably what the grimace was. Misses this one though.
Didn't see that coming.
Wasn't his best bit of cueing, if he's honest with himself. So the first mistake since frame 1.
After doing all the hard work.
Extension course.
Can Ian come up with here then? Moment of magic. When you're in a situation, he's got full sight at the red. Going to kick at it. Not this time. Hasn't even managed to get it into the pocket where he would have been putting pressure on. He's gone to a position where he takes pressure off Phil. Because he essentially goes safer. Red being safer might help because it takes pressure off balls he's probably now going to have to play down the rails. Interesting to see whether he leaves the yellow on the left-hand side as a double, simply because there isn't a great ball to land on it perfectly. He's not guaranteed. He'd need a good angle and then pace control with a good line. He'd get on it, but how good? And Phil is top draw when it comes to the doubles. He does have a good angle here to track across. It's just kind of the line you'd find here would be centre pocket, so he's just got to be careful. Tend to come up short. You play this shot because of it. Just backed himself to find that line beautifully.
I mean, that is perfection, isn't it?
Good counter then from Phil. Simple 8 ball. Back within 1. Seven frames played, 13 in the session, so one more than we have been playing up till this point because of the extended race. 6 more frames to come. Update on the score, Stephen, as well. 10-10, Aaron Davies and Josh Joaz.
5-5, Craig Waddingham, Kyle Cope.
Building nicely in the venue. There's a plate event on as well, so there's a lot of people in the venue, a lot of players still milling around playing the game, and of course we've got the women's event in full swing. We saw some action from that earlier on. We'll see more tomorrow from the women's event. Good to see them get underway today. They only started at 3 p.m. It was a sort of day-and-a-half tournament for the Women's Masters rather than the 3-day we have here in the Masters.
Trailing 4 frames to 3.
Another change of break here for Phil. Chopping and changing a little bit, trying to find something to stick with. Moves to the cut break.
Yeah, stick with that.
He might stay there for a little while. That was excellent. And the layout's good. The layout's very, very good, actually. Assume he goes reds here. Doesn't have a great starter on yellows anyway, but red at the top. Connect that to red in the middle of the table, and then you've got perfect control from there. Every ball's got a pocket. I suspect he wanted to be straighter on this red. Phil will always let you know if he's where he wants to be. Even though he's fine here, he would like to have been straighter. Top through, deal with the 2 at the bottom. Now he's got angle. He's going to slide off the yellow. He might flick it, might flick past it, but it's not on a good line for him. And he's run out of time. It's amazing, really. We're in year 5 of Ultimate Pool, and Phil's been here from the start. Had huge success. Had some peaks and troughs, no doubt, but he's still not comfortable on the shot clock. Even now, other players we've seen really evolve with it. Tom Cousins now looks as comfortable as you can see at 15 seconds a shot, and he was, you'd say he was where Phil was at the start in terms of looking uncomfortable.
Yeah, maybe even more so. I think there's a few mitigating circumstances for that. See there in the right ear, Phil plays with the hearing aids. It's something that I think doesn't bother him in day-to-day life, but I think it's something he's aware of in the arena with the prevalence of the beeps and the shot clock and all the rest of it. I think getting into his head a little bit. He is one of the great overthinkers, which is fine. Nothing wrong with that.
Oh, that's a massive wide.
But that's nothing to do with overthinking. That's just a, yeah, big wide.
Yeah. Wow.
Wasn't under time pressure on that scenario.
No, he certainly was not. First real big mistake he's made so far. He's had the second chances majority of the time in terms of only had one first visit until that one there, so done a lot wrong to be 4-3 down. That one's certainly one that has got away. That was a frame 1, really. Ian just getting his line wrong there. He was trying to bump the yellow nearest left centre. He gets that bump, he's on the one to bottom left, and he, in theory, has one over the middle pocket, and everything all connects all really nicely. But from here, completely different story. So much so, he's not even going to take it on. Good solid hit. Not the end of the world for Phil in terms of it might take Ian another visit or two, so he can probably come back and have another attempt to make it off a cushion. Oh, he hasn't left an edge, has he? He's left an edge. Does the red go? No, had to swerve it. What a shot that is.
Wowee.
That is special. Very, very special.
How do you make that and miss the one that he missed a couple of shots ago?
It's true.
How does that happen? That is an extraordinary shot from the farmer.
Very special. Swerving it for the thin cut.
Oh, spectacular. Deserved a little bit of luck with the run into the yellow to finish plumb on the 8. Yeah, you deserve it when you make a shot like that.
You could actually see it even better off the main camera, just the little bend it got to find the line. Absolutely top draw from Phil. So makes a big mistake in the frame and recovers, redeems himself. Ian will be kicking himself a little bit because he had a really good chance to counter, didn't get his breakout right. He gets the just a trace more side on, gets the cannon. It's a dot to dot for him. Made the right choice for me in pulling back, but you're going to lay a snooker. You've got to get that snooker really well, and just left an edge. Okay, little swerve, moment of something very, very special. But Ian will be kicking himself rather than anything else. He knows he had an opportunity to not allow that to happen. Did go short side on that one, just drifted past the yellow, not much margin of error, but wasn't moving the cue ball very far. The red did go past the yellow, but it didn't really fit the pattern as well as doing it this way round, which is why Ian's done it this way. He could have used down the table and the red to centre to get up for the one at the top, but the one at the top then is not a good ball for the 8 ball, so it just didn't fit the pattern, which is why he's done it the way he's done it. You have to say he's done it very, very well. A lovely half a turn of angle here to get behind the short side 8 ball. Oh my word.
I can't believe what I've just seen.
We were seeing so much quality with finish after finish, and all of a sudden, bad miss from Phil in the previous frame that you just didn't expect, and a bad miss from Ian that you didn't expect in this frame.
The difference is Phil's miss didn't end up costing him. I have a suspicion we won't be able to say the same for Ian. That's a massive moment.
Wide open though, slightly different counter clearance level for Phil here. This is one absolutely just routine really. Ian's just needed that one shot. Expected him to get it, didn't, and then lost the tactical side of it. But that miss from, I mean, the work was done. I mean, it was slightly surprising actually that he got a little bump on the yellow rather than just didn't quite get enough side on to avoid it. But even then, he was perfect. There was no issues. This is sort of miss that you would be quite jarring as a player, that will stick with you for a while. Could have gone to the corner or the centre there. If he goes to the corner, he's bringing the cue ball low, and then he's going away from the 8-ball. So he goes to the centre because it keeps him, well, he allowed him to come down to the straight, close to. So that was the reason. Slightly harder pot, better cue ball, easier finish. What a counter.
Well, we're going to have to see that missed 8-ball again. I mean, Ian Ali won't want to see it again. That's understandable. I do.
You just can't believe it. You cannot. I mean, that may be the easiest ball he's missed in 2 or 3 years.
Maybe longer.
Maybe longer. Yeah, that's off the charts. That one. That really is. No explanation. No worry of the cue ball. No. It just.
Yeah, there's no mitigation there.
No.
It's just a jarring miss.
It is the sort of miss that can stay with you for a long time, and this is the perfect time for Phil Harrison to put together a break clearance. Make him think about that. Make him think about the fact that he should have gone 5-3. Make him think about the fact he should have gone 5-4.
Well, we often say with Ian Ali, one of the reasons he's such a good money match player is his mentality is incredible. His confidence is unshakable. He's got an amazing ability to just forget everything that's happened and go again. And that's all well and good when you're taking on tough finish after tough finish, and you're doing yourself justice, but you didn't quite get over the line, you move on. That wasn't that. That was a shot he can probably make one-handed with his eyes closed most of the time.
Oh, without a doubt, that was as easy as it gets. That's what makes it so jarring. The easiest way to forget something like that, though, is just to win the next frame, and then it's gone. So that's why Phil was so disappointed with the dry break walking away. You're absolutely right with Ian, though, with his mentality. You don't win many matches in the way that he does without having the ability to forget a mistake, because you don't play races to 25-30, which some of his matches now have become, without making mistakes. You know, you will make mistakes out there, and it's how you deal with them. Recovery pot. Would like to have been a little straighter. The yellow, I don't think, passes the 8-ball to left centre. So if he plays on the one on the right-hand side here, then he's got to have a good angle then to get back on the last yellow. That's why he's come across. That's why I'm saying he wants to be straighter, because he's been able to hold on this one. He's played that well.
I think he just... Can he punch across here? Yeah, he can. I tell you what, this would be one of the best finishes of the weekend when you factor in what happened just before it.
In its isolation, you just go, oh, that's a very, very good finish, but mentally.
I think, yeah, we talked about it at the start of the frame. You can see there, that little look to the sky, that sort of tells you that it's still there in his mind. He's not over it yet, but the way that he's able to compartmentalise that, to be able to take that one down is so impressive. He's still chuntering, he's still fuming about that miss, and I don't think he'd be human if he wasn't. but the ability to put it to one side to take out a tricky finish, still in the quarter-final, is so impressive. He is... There's no other real way to say this for Ian Ali. The biggest compliment I can pay him, like the biggest attribute that he has, he's got massive balls.
Yeah.
He is a ballsy player.
He is. He might wake, regardless of what the scoreline finishes in this session, because they're going to sleep on the scoreline. They'll come back first thing tomorrow to finish. He might wake up in the middle of the night thinking about that 8-ball. That's how bad of an 8-ball it is.
He's sleeping soundly tonight. Don't you worry about that. He's sleeping like a baby, whatever scoreline it is. Just backs himself to wake up and go again.
It would certainly help him if he was 8-5 up. 3 more frames to go. If he could get to 8-5, he wouldn't think about it as much. If he's 8-5 down, he'd be thinking about it a lot. More frames to play. Somebody will take a lead into tomorrow. Wants to be on the one at the top, and he is, but just not with the angle he wanted. Drop of the shoulders, trademark Phil Harrison head shake. He's not in a bad spot here. It's not perfection. Beautiful recovery though.
Pretty good, I would suggest.
Yeah. Does he? If he can hold this, play the red to right centre and just hold on the yellow, opening up the path of the double. Although the double probably is wide open anyway.
I mean, if he really wanted to, he doesn't. He's happy for the double because he's Phil Harrison. But he could push that a little bit further, and he could probably find a line to land him behind that 8 pretty nicely. He's already shown he's got that shot in the locker. Wow,
he's happy with it in the middle. Wow, this looks tougher than the double to me.
Yeah, especially as I just said, when your name's Phil Harrison.
Yeah, this looks horrible. It looks one thing on the main screen. On the overhead, it looks like that you've got no pocket.
It doesn't look like you got much there.
Yeah, I'm blown away with that.
I can't think, if your name's Phil Harrison and you're widely regarded as the greatest doubler of a ball that this game's ever seen, why you're playing that shot.
I'm really surprised. I can only assume that, the double looks on. It looks like the yellow wasn't in the way at all, but if it was, he could have absolutely used the pocket and held on the yellow to make the double. So was it not on that we couldn't tell in some way? That ball into the middle was got to be harder than the double.
And even to that point, if you're going to play that shot and track over to that side rail, the red before, you could drop down a little bit further. You'd surely fancy the 8 into the bottom left more than you would into the middle left if you play from the side rail.
I agree.
Just a reminder for everybody, 13 frames in this first session. Races to 14 total now for all of these quarterfinals. And then the semis and the final, the race continues to climb. It really is a battle of quality, this tournament.
These are the situations when I would love to be able to just mic up the players and say, Phil, what were you thinking? Talk us through it. What was there'll be a reason, you know, you're not Phil Harrison without,
no.
You know, there'll be a reason why that we've not seen here from the commentary box, but it looked like the double was the play and he didn't want to take it on. But yeah, that's...
as we've just discussed, it was probably, at least from our vantage point, it's worth pointing out that I certainly am not, and even you, a former England international, are definitely not Phil Harrison. So it's very easy for us to sit here and chirp from the commentary box, but look, to our eyes, as if the shot he ended up taking on was third choice.
Yeah.
And he had options to do both of option 1 and 2.
Yeah, I completely agree. Maybe he just had it in his mind. That's what he wanted from the start. Anyway, he's put himself under it a little bit, as Ian's got himself to 6 with 2 more frames to play.
Considering Ian Ali, 2 frames ago, if you remember, played maybe the worst shot of his pro career. He's sitting rather pretty.
Yeah, agreed. That was an opportunity. Phil broke and he was thinking, right, break clearance and really hurt him, and then he follows it with he doesn't make the break clearance. Ian makes the great recovery, reverse clearance himself. And then obviously he gets the opportunity there and he doesn't take it. So yeah, what could have been, potentially, Phil could have really inflicted some damage to make him think overnight. He's kind of let him off a little bit.
Yellow ball's in point.
Worst case scenario, Phil's going to be 8-5 down here, but that would feel big the way the game has gone. 7-6 either way. Don't think the players will be won't be too in their mind. They're right in the mix then. Just a slightly tight little section here. Just that little turn of angle to pop a yellow on. Does it go? No. I'm not going to get fooled here. Reaction tells me that doesn't go. My gut feel was it did. Overhead camera is not conclusive. Yeah, that goes, Phil. That's fine. You want to be right behind it. It's far from a full pocket. No, he's going to move it. Make your own mind up. I think that goes. Phil doesn't. But he's fooled us before. It goes now, but he's not really on it. So that it must have really not gone for him to not do that. It looked like it did, though. Tries to make it off the red. So just having his worst moments in the match right now is Phil, right at the wrong time, the back end of this session.
This has been some match.
It's been drama though, isn't it? It's been entertaining. There was so much quality for such large periods, and then just a couple of the mistakes we've seen have been very surprising towards the back end. But that frame there means that Ian is guaranteed a lead when they come back tomorrow morning. First thing, they'll be playing at 10 a.m. and he's guaranteed to be in front. Will it be 8-5 or will it be 7-6? Update you on a few scores. Craig Waddingham and 𝗏𝗏𝗃𝗏 were 5-5. Craig made it 10-5 before Kyle has just won a frame to go 10-6. It's to 13 in the last 16. Prize for the winner there is a matchup with Chris Melling. That will be more than likely to end the night. We don't know which way around the last two matches will be. And Josh Juaz and Aaron Davies, 12-11 to Aaron right now. From 10-10, Aaron 1-2 to get on the hill. Josh still battling hard. Huge explosions from Ian The Fav Ali there. That's massive. And 8-ball has flown in. No golden break. Ian's been told to sit down as the ball gets re-racked. Time will be restarted once he gets back to the table, which he does now.
Had to be yellows. If they could just thread the needle through to the one closest to the pocket. It's a touch.
Yeah, everything has a pocket here. Just a little fiddly at the top. But this is a huge frame. Last one of the session. Clock's gone, obviously. This frame will complete. Ian gets out here. That miss a few frames ago will just be gone. Will not be in his mind at all. 8-5, you'd take that. 8-5 in the quarterfinals as an overnight lead, you'd be happy. That's a bit between. Can only assume he was playing a little higher up the table there to be on the bottom one of the two together. If he lands straight in there, he's out.
He's okay.
He's got the one down the table, but that doesn't get him to a great place unless these two connect okay top left, in which case he might just play them now.
Yeah, he can definitely get through to the one closest to the pocket. It's just where the cue ball goes after that.
Yeah. Does it squeeze off the yellow, or does it just float by it naturally? If it floats by, this is perfect.
I think it floats. He can push the pocket a little bit, find an angle. Yeah, it's nice. They actually link up pretty well.
You have to say, some missed opportunities for Phil here. He was given an opportunity to really hurt Ian Ali, and he's just let it slip I think he
didn't think he'd be saying that when Ian missed that 8-ball.
No, I thought Phil was working off scraps for the majority of the match. Ian was getting more first visits than Phil was, and Phil had kept himself in it beautifully, played brilliantly, but the mistakes have come at the wrong time.
I can say that again. At the halfway stage, Ian Ali will sleep soundly tonight, 8-5 in front of the farmer Phil Harrison.
But we are ready to go. This is the second sessions of the quarterfinals. We're going to have all 4 quarterfinals to a climax over the course of the next 4 hours or so. That man there is in the strongest position of all 8 players in the quarterfinals. He has an 8-5 lead over the former world champion Phil Harrison, a former champion here with the Masters as well. So Phil Harrison has it all to do. It is a race to 14. We have got 50 minutes on the match clock to get this one done. Phil will start 3 behind, but he gets first opportunity in the opening frame. And my first opportunity of the day to welcome Tony Holgate to the commentary box.
Good morning, Simon.
Very good morning.
Well, it's going to be a very intriguing day today. Like you say, Ian Ali, he's the only player with what you would call a substantial lead in his quarterfinal. We finished off last night with Aaron Davis playing Christophe Lambert. They're tied at 6 apiece.
Yeah, we've got tight all the way. Sean Story, John McAllister, 7-6 to John. Craig Waddingham, Chris Melling, 7-6 to Craig. Aaron Davies and Christophe Lambert didn't complete the session, 6-all. Very tight. And this one's tight as well. 8-5 is not a massive lead in a race to 14. But the farmer is going to have to start the quicker here. I feared he couldn't see this one when he left it by the red. Not the ball he wanted to be on, but just has to rework a finish.
I remember watching this match from the arena last night, as it was your good self and J-Mo on comms. And at the end of it, just watching Phil's demeanour as he left the arena at 8-5 down, it was more of a trudge and his head was down. But then it could have been a whole lot worse because Ian Ali missed a very easy black halfway through that match. Just quite unbelievable.
He did, but he didn't let it affect him.
No.
The way he finished was strong. I think it was... I can't remember the scoreline, what it would have been if he'd made the black, but I know that essentially Phil got it to 5-5. And you're thinking, okay, this could be, you know, tough for Ian, but he won the last 3 to steal a march on the match, really.
I do remember it because Ian, the shot before, Ian was trying to just pop this ball in the middle and just soft screw the keyboard behind the yellow, and he jammed at it a bit, and he thought he'd snookered himself, and he actually just got past the yellow, and he had a wry smile as though, thank God I've got past the yellow. And as he got down, he missed the black, and it could have been just one of them just took his off it completely. But like you say, it didn't affect him because he put out some fabulous finishes as well straight after that.
Phil's landed straight here, and he wants to be straight on the next ball. He doesn't want the right angle from the right side because then he's going into the 8-ball. So he's going to be quite a long way from the yellow here. And he has got the angle where he's going into the 8-ball, so he's got to judge the flick on the 8.
I'd like to go a little bit further with the cue ball. Get this wrong, you just push the 8-ball onto the cushion.
Like that?
Not similar.
Just drops in, I think.
It's very, very tight. It must
He's happy,
do.
but
Yeah.
no head shake there, so he must be very happy with this. Yeah, no problem. Well judged and well reworked that from Phil Harrison. Very good. That's the start he was looking for. Knew he had to break overnight, as in he knew he was coming in with the break this morning, and he's thinking, if I put together a break clearance, we are only 2 in it. We're 1 break apart, basically. Essentially, that's what he's thinking. And he has been around the game a long time. He knows that 8-5 is far from a disaster. So we will see all 4 quarterfinals conclude. We're going to try and dip into the women's masters as well, and then we'll be back for the semi-finals. 2 sessions in the semi-finals, race to 14 in there in those matches, and then tonight we will have the final race to 15, 2 sessions And we'll have the women's final as well. We'll keep you updated on all the scores in the women's event as we're going on. They're still in their group stages. Once we get to the knockouts, we'll really give you some insights there. Some big players with work to do in the group stages.
That was an immense break there from Ian Ali. Oh, dream split.
That's very good, isn't it? Assuming the 8 ball passes the yellow to top left, you really can't see how this goes wrong. It might not pass to top left. Looking at it, it looks half a pocket at best. Therefore, short side is probably the way. I don't think there was any attempt to move the 8 ball there. It would have been a bad line to try and move it. He was trying to avoid it.
Yeah, there's enough reds up there to be able to navigate position onto that 8 ball.
That wasn't the best of shots.
Yeah, got quite a lot of top spin into that. He was trying to play it so it pinged off that bottom rail, and the spin on the keyboard sort of, it killed it.
Yeah, like trapped it on the cushion and kept it there rather than letting it spin up the table. Considering the layout, there was a bit more work in that shot than we were expecting, and if the 8 ball is blocked completely, then it could hurt him at the back end because he's not back in prime position yet. Now you feel he needs the 8 ball to go because you can't get left side of it from here. He's had multiple looks.
Well, it must do. So he's played exactly for that pocket.
He's having another look. This is as tight as it can be.
Very slow into the jaw, just trying to let it slide in. Bags of room.
Yeah, bags of room. Right off the jaw though, exactly as you said, onto the straight jaw, let it fall. And it's a break, clearance, a piece to start the day. As you were, 3 frames the difference in Ali, now 5 frames from the semi-finals. It's been good to see Ian start to make some waves in the pro game. Obviously, he's been a very well-known player for a long time in the money match scene and has these moments, but had a run through to the final of the Pro Series. Lost out to Aaron Davies earlier this year, but we've seen some brilliant performances from him. And he's such an entertaining player to watch. It is great to see him starting to really get traction at the top of the game. Feels dry.
Yellow ball's in play.
Just hampered. You've got to feel he wanted to be able to play the yellow bottom left and screw into the problem, but you can't get to the bottom of the cue ball. He's going to have to rework something. This is very delicate into right centre. Yeah, that was tough. But he knows the red on the left-hand side is a real problem. It's a bigger problem for reds than it is for yellows, even though it's the same 2 balls being tied up. Where's the breaker ball for Phil Harrison? He has a couple of options, but no good ones. found an angle to go into it, but he wanted a fuller hit on that. He didn't want the glancing blow because he wanted to send the red down towards the pocket. It does go though, so he just has to play a very good positional shot to get to it. Looks like he can probably do that now. Might not be able to get that close. Going to do it off his last ball. Easiest ball to connect off that red on the left-hand side will be the 8 ball. I mean, the red he's on now would have also connected, but then you'd have to leave an angle to make sure you get back to the 8 ball and slightly further away from the pocket, so you can understand why. As he overhit this, he looks happy, so he's got the angle he's looking for. Very good, this from Phil. 8 ball then to finish the job. Missed opportunity for Ian Ali. Chance to steal one off the Phil Harrison break.
(9-7) it is.
That was high quality from Phil. That was far from an easy finish. He looks sharp this morning.
Yeah, absolutely.
What I like about it, you know, Phil's notorious for seeking perfection, and anything less than perfection, he shakes his head and gets annoyed. He hasn't been, you know, in terms of, he's got out both visits that he's had, so it is perfect, but it's not, the cue ball hasn't been absolutely on point, and he's had to rework twice, which is how Paul goes. You know, there's not many finishes where that doesn't happen, but we didn't see any, you know, he just got on with it. You know, just, you know, one in the first frame where he, you know, half a head shake and then got on with it, and this time nothing. Didn't come out as he wanted to. That's okay. I'll get it. You know, and when Phil's at his best, that's what we need to see, because he can't waste time with any of that stuff.
Dry break from Ali.
Reds to the play here. I was wondering whether he'd take reds simply because does the 8 ball pass the yellow? He's taken reds. I think that 8 ball does pass the yellow. Do you think players think about the legacy, you know, do you think the fact that this is a tournament that Phil has won in the past, is it just another tournament in the players' minds, or is it something that you come to a tournament? I know it was a very different version of the game back when Phil won it in year 1. It was actually on live TV, a regular Monday night event, but he's looking to become a 2 times Masters champion.
I don't know. It probably depends on the individual.
Was it something that bothered you? Was it something that...
I never won it.
For the ones that you did win?
For when I was playing it, was obviously, you'd look to see, you know, when the World Championship was looming, because I think that was a big deal. Europeans also, just it carries that prestige just with the sound of the title. You know, to be the world champion. Don't get me wrong, if you could win any tournament in a professional sport, that's just a massive achievement in itself. But I suppose if you win something more than once, then it has a nice ring to it, doesn't it? Like a 2-time Masters champion. Yeah,
agreed. I do. I mean,
it means you've not just fluked one now, just once in your career.
It's one of the things I look at from now that I'm on the broadcast side of the sport. I really do buy into all that sort of stuff. This is tight. And it goes. It's another very good visit, this. And the 8 ball must go. He wouldn't have gone about the finish in this way if it doesn't. So just has to find the gap. He could come all the way across to take it out of play if he wants to.
Yeah, he's looked very, very good this morning, Phil Harrison. This is a whole different player than was out in the arena last night. Fabulous.
Yeah, agreed. I think going back to the previous point, I think in other sports, legacy matters. You know, we talk about, you know, we're in the Q Sports world, so the biggest comparable is going to be snooker, and we talk in terms about, you know, how many times has Ronnie won the world compared to Stephen Hendry and so on and so forth. But that goes deep into all of their events. Same in tennis, where, you know, you talk a lot about the majors. You know, how many of those have you done, and same in golf, which obviously is a passion of yours and mine. Is, you know, we know that those matter more, and, you know, I'd love to see that become a thing. I think the Masters in the pool world should become
a major.
Maybe whether we turn it into those terms or not, I think it should matter that, you know, Phil's trying to become a 2-time champion here.
I see what you're saying. You have like a blue ribbon event, you know.
Yeah, agreed.
You know, like even in the horse racing, you know, you got the Triple Crown in America. You know, these are the big things over here. You know, you got the Derby and the National. They're held in such high esteem.
Fantastic break here from Phil. And yeah, the way that Ultimate Pool have it set up at the moment, you have, I think it's about 15, 16 professional tournaments throughout the year. They're all worth roughly, they're all worth the same ranking points, and they're all worth roughly. There's a couple that are slightly more money, but not you know, they're all pretty much the same. And it's whether it should be, whether that, you know, should you have more legacy? You know, if this was one of 4, would we be talking about it in different terms? And you can't just make that happen. That needs to be a much more considered thought than ramblings of a commentator in a commentary box. But I certainly buy into the legacy. I think the number we all look at right now, if we're talking about the Ultimate Pool Pro terms, is just number of professional titles.
Yeah, when I played it, we had the Masters just appeared.
The WEPF Masters.
But we in the pro game we had the International Masters.
Yeah.
And that was a televised event.
Because Phil's won the WEPF World Masters and the World Championships and the Ultimate Pool Masters. He's got it covered.
Exactly. My ring through doesn't have quite the same sort of tone as like. I think I was a 2-time semi-finalist of the International Masters, and the same fella knocked me out both times, which was Darren Appleton.
It's better than my quarterfinal, so we're okay.
Yeah.
Has he got to turn too much angle here? If he was a ball straighter, you feel like it would be a bit easier.
I think you just pull it just past that middle bag and try and come up softly off that cushion. I could just hold.
Yeah, that was nice though. That was nice. He had to really hit that nice and let it grip. Again, that was another one where I thought we might see that mini head shake and nothing. Just, I'm okay. I'm just going to execute the next shot.
He hasn't missed a ball this morning.
He is on it this morning, no doubt about it. The farmer, Phil Harrison, has come to play, and we are all square. This was the quarterfinal with the biggest frame difference of 3. Now it's not. It's all square at 9s. Both players need 5. Oh, this is bubbling up nicely, Tony. Last year in the Masters, which was the first time we saw it in this format, and I hope this, my understanding is, and hope this format is now here to stay. This is definitely room in the calendar for an event like this. Was that once we got to the quarterfinals, every match just went deep, right down to the wire. It just became excellence everywhere you look. And early signs are we're going to have the same again this year. Of course, we have got the defending champions doing the competition, talking about legacy. Chris Melling, he'll be up in a couple of hours' time against Craig Waddingham. statistic for you as we see Ian Ali have first chance for a little while, Tony. Only one player in the quarterfinals yet to win a professional title with Ultimate Pool. It's the man at the table right now.
Ian Ali, yeah.
Made a final. Lost out to Aaron Davies, who's also in the quarterfinals. He plays Christophe Lambert around 1 p.m.
It's a couple of seasons since Christophe won his tour, isn't it?
Yeah, Christophe won a couple of years ago. That's a
Aaron's won this year.
History.
Phil obviously multiple.
Phil's won a few now, including this one. Sean Story's won in year one and been close many times. John's won a bunch now, including this year. Craig Wanningham's won a bunch. Chris Melling is in second place on the all-time list with Ultimate Pool on 5. Unfortunately for Chris, he's 8 behind our runaway leader in that statistic of Tom Cousins, who was knocked out yesterday by Ian Ali in the last 16. Yeah, so all players bar Ian.
Ian comes from the gang of an extremely good money player, and he likes the long distances. Ian, the longer the better for Ian Ali.
Yeah, and absolutely start the tournament. That would be no surprise to see Ian take down any tournament he enters, including this one. So. Just because he's the only one of the 8 without that one doesn't mean he's any less of a chance to win it, in my opinion.
I must admit, the one that Aaron won, Aaron Davis, which was the first one at Wigan this season, Ian Ali, I thought he was going to win that, you know, because he was flying in that one.
I did.
And also, he knocked Tom Cousins out in that tournament as well.
Yeah.
He kept coming from behind against everybody, and you know, I think it did it to Shane Thompson. I think he had a nice collection of scalps.
He did it to Aaron in the final as well, but Aaron was able just
to hold him off.
Hold him off and take out a brilliant finish to win it. But yeah, it was an incredible performance from Ian. The level he played at and the way he played. You know, I likened it to a computer game. It was almost silly at times. Anyway, while we're talking about all that, Phil is continuing this punishing mood. It was a disappointing miss for Ian to start this frame, and he's being punished to the max by the looks of things here.
Yeah, I think Harrison's now got to the stage where he's forced that miss out of Ian just by purely. Harrison is not missing a ball. He's at the moment playing perfect pool.
I'm not sure if he was thinking about coming further up the table, and the plan was always to play 8-ball bottom left, and didn't quite time that one well, which is why he had a quick look at bottom right.
She's playing a lot of left-hand side on a cue ball here, so he's coming off the 2 rails.
A little short, bit in between. If it's tight, you'd definitely go bottom left if this is tight. He's going bottom right.
Yeah, so I think he's got plenty of room.
He's not too bad. Ooh, wow. Perfect pull till that moment. That could be a big one. That was, I mean, it was hard to tell from the camera angle we had. The fact he was down and playing it quickly, I thought that must be perfect and okay. If there was any problems, would you not just go the other way?
Well, you said it. You said if it's tight, go in the other corner.
It wasn't the best of shots to be onto it, but it probably wasn't the best of shots 2 before that then allowed him not to have played the best of shots to be on it.
Yeah, I think if he's a bit straighter behind it, he never misses that in a million years.
Yeah.
And this is such a let-off for Ian Ali, and it might be something that just kick-starts his morning for him.
Yeah. Well, that was 4-1. That was for 5-1 this morning, with 5 visits to the table from Phil Harrison. So that was Phil flying at that point. Will that burst the bubble? Will that change things for the farmer? Certainly will change things for Ian Ali. So it looks like he's going to go back in front rather than behind. Ian does what was expected of him and makes the counter clearance. Mark that one down. Frame 19. Phil Harrison making a big error. His first error of the morning. And he is behind rather than in front. Actually, to me, I felt he must be really good on that ball, just simply because of there was no stopping in his tracks. And as we've already talked about, Phil was a player that likes to stop and be frustrated if he's not perfect. But he just got down and was straight on it, so I assumed it went comfortably. But flicks the yellow on the way through. Just grazes it. There you go. Definitely hasn't got the left-hand jaw. Had centre pocket.
Frame 20. Doesn't have to break. Trailing 10 frames to none.
And I think you're right, Tony. If you're right behind that, you don't miss it. Just being that little bit blind caused the issue.
Hello. Where's he going to be left?
Has he got access to the red top right? I think so. Next question is, does the 8-ball go?
Yes.
Then it's good. It's a good chance then. Looked like it was going to be a disaster, but I think he's absolutely fine here.
Yeah, worst case scenario, you can just go off the rail before and clip that red in. So from what looked like being a nasty little position for Phil, he's actually okay. Now, how will that missed black affect Phil Harrison? Is he carrying it around with him in this next frame? So Harrison's got rid of his problem red. And this is all plain sailing, and this will bring this match level once again, and it's now getting to the nitty-gritty.
I'm so impressed with Phil Harrison. I really am. And I know that sounds strange as he knocks in the 8-ball for another break finish. I'm so impressed with him because it's not that he's got a temperament problem at all. That's not what I'm saying here. But he's a player that he will show his frustration out there. He'll waste time, head shake, and all that sort of stuff. He's done none of it this morning. Absolutely none of it. Even when he landed on that 8-ball and it was more awkward than it could have been and he missed it, he just went back to his chair and had to deal with it. But there was no messing around before it. And I've said for 5 years that that's what he needs to do in this modern era of 30 seconds a shot. He needs to cut that out. You know, it's obviously worked for him in the past, but if you're wasting 10, 15 seconds doing that, it's going to cost you. He's come in with a great attitude this morning. He's been on it. Yeah, don't let one shot affect the fact that what he's done this morning has been brilliant.
Very businesslike, and
yeah,
and you're right. And I was thinking it last night when he was going through the old head shaking routine, and it was when it was down at 15 seconds a shot, and I'm thinking, you're wasting 3 of these 15 seconds just by standing there, sort of becoming a little bit animated. Having to bend round here, Ian Ali.
Means the next one's a thin clip back. This visit will be all about, can he get control of this cue ball? Still not perfect, but he's getting there.
Yeah, this is a bit easy in his last shot now, and he does have quite a nice angle just to get on the ball on the closest to the top cushion.
Can't be straight.
No, I was just about to say that because he needs to come out and then leave another angle to get all the way down the table for the last red. So far from easy. That's not going to get there. Well, 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 Ian Ali.
Yeah.
Is that because of Phil? He's got into his head.
Well, let me ask you that. Is it harder to play great when your opponent's playing great?
I think he doesn't miss that ball last night.
I agree with that, yeah.
This is a whole different match. Amazing how it just turns, you know, it's only, what, how many hours ago? 14 hours ago or something like that, maybe a bit more. About that.
A bit of a blur, but something like that, yeah. Not an easy counter here for Phil, but you feel this is a big frame. Both players need 4 still, you know, not on the brink yet. But any frame where a mistake's been made is certainly one that you note down.
Well, he'll take that, will Phil. Yes, he's left clear sight for Ian, but there's a lot of work to be done. That red at the bottom of the table, it does go past that yellow into the bottom left, but you need to be absolutely bang on it.
It's about the similar tariff finish for me. I know you can't get the red to bottom right now, but I think the balls at the top are just slightly better because he was perfect on one.
I like that shot. I do, because it was very easy to just play the one in the middle and get down there. But leaving that red there makes getting on the black so much easier. He's been a bit unfortunate there to land awkward queuing.
Ball higher,
yeah,
he's out.
Correct.
Because he can just stun up the table. Now he's got to go natural.
And dig.
Oh, this is tough. Now he's having to, oh dear. Big shot. Doesn't get it. The difference one ball made. Half a ball probably up higher up the table. Phil will lose the frame because Ian will mop them up.
I do feel there's a safety shot to be played. I don't think Harrison's going to go game fully. Those 2 yellows need nudging apart at the top as well.
Very off angle plant, this one. Needs a little bounce. He's got the one bottom right if he wants it. Is he considering loss of turn? It's not a great place to play a breakout, but if he plays the loss of turn, he's got to make it a good one. I'd be tempted to play the yellow off the red to left centre. Just knock it a bit further up the cushion, giving you more control when you want to play a loss of turn.
Not a bad call at all, that. And he agrees with you.
Problem is, you'd want to keep the cue ball down the table, so you'd probably have to play the one over the pocket, which you wouldn't want to then play the loss of turn. You'd be looking to...
Do you know what? There is a shot there. Full-blooded cut that yellow at the top of the table into the top right. Running side, come right down the table and smack them 2 balls apart. I'd have a go. I'd have had a go there. I think it was a shot to nothing.
That's slightly clever, though. That's clever, because he tried to put a ball in an area where it becomes a good breaker ball for him. Another few rolls down the table would have made it even better without really giving Ian much to go at.
Yeah, I'd have definitely had a go. Full well in the back of my mind, knowing if I do get it, it's going to be on the highlight reel.
Anyone that's known you for a long time, Tony, knows that you'd have had a go there.
But it was a shot to nothing because the angle was there. So you got 4 cushions, so it goes left hand, top rail, side rail. Just before the black, it hits that cushion and comes into the red and yellow.
I think the loss of turn is on, and he's tried to get on it in a way where he can play the snooker at the same time twice, and I think he hasn't quite got there. So now if he plays it, he risks leaving the ball up the cushion, and he just doesn't want to risk Ian making a big shot. But I think he's kind of backed himself into the corner that he may have to do that.
Yeah, I kind of thought that was a good shot. He snookered him.
Yeah. But now, yeah.
Bill's not going to take that risk of that big shot from Ian Ali because he knows, obviously, Ian's capable of doing it.
And to add a little bit more, to play the loss of turn, he was risking leaving the red on. To get the red at the top covered, he was risking not making the loss of turn. It might have just left the red in the jaws, and it was a bit of a touchy one. It wasn't an absolute guarantee, so that is why. What a big frame of ball this has become.
Does he go? I fear not. He's got to knock the yellow out then. He has to do... Oh. He tried to bump that out and leave the cue ball stuck right on top of Ian's red and bring the yellow away from it.
With the yellow still going. Yeah. He's frustrated. First time we've seen anything like that this morning. But he's still, for my money, in control of this frame.
I don't know, and I'm going to tell you why. It's because the yellow and red stuck together. That's more favourable towards Ian Ali because if he bumps into it, he's bumping that red towards the bag.
I suppose now that he's potted down to just 2 balls on the table. Well, if that blocks the 8 ball from going, keeps the yellow on, that's an interesting leave.
I think he might slide down there, you know.
Yeah. But even if it doesn't, I suppose that, depending on what Ian does, that will be the ball that Phil would play safe off anyway, so it's not likely to stay there. Oh, this is a fascinating little exchange right now. Probably does slide in. Ian's a long way from that being a factor, though, right now. I don't think he's got any choice but just to play the one in the open, almost dead weight, half ball. Oh, underneath it. Interesting.
Black certainly goes from there.
Not a great angle for Ian to force into it. Does have an angle, but it's not. You have to really force it, so I'm going to take that on.
I think we could be here for a while with these 2 balls.
Yeah, neither player wanting to open it up, and neither player wanting to take it on. Don't blame them.
6 red shootout at 10 all.
Yeah, 26 minutes of this. I think this is the one of the arguments. I mean, Phil tried to be aggressive once he had the, when Phil first came to the table here after Ian missed, he had control and tried to be positive and pot a few balls to get a breakout angle, but he couldn't make it work. If he'd come to the table and just gone, I'm going to play a loss of turn, I'm going to pot 1 ball, play a loss of turn, take control of the frame, he probably has already won this frame. So he's probably being hurt here by being a little bit aggressive at the start.
Well, Ian Ali has made that red potable now. So just by that one nudge there, that we won't be far from seeing an end to this intriguing frame. Good shot by Harrison. Force the issue now, really.
Got to take this on, dead weight.
It's a horrible shot, isn't it?
No, he's not going to take it on.
This is dangerous as well, because if you hit this too thin, you could nudge Phil's yellow out like that and leave game on.
I thought the pot on the right-hand side would have been a better option, simply because if you make it, you're on the red at the bottom. Yes, you're going to have to control the cue ball off the yellow, get on the 8 ball. But if you don't make it, you've got red close to a pocket, and you've not left an angle on the yellow to do anything.
Oh, jawed it. It was a bit scuffy how he hit it. Now then, Ian Ali, what can you conjure up here? Looking at the double, I think, into the corner.
Extension.
Might be coming back in the middle after all of that.
Yeah, he was trying to use the yellow to hold the cue ball. If he plays the double, he knows he's very thin. The cue ball's not going to stay down the table, so his concentration was on using the yellow to hold, and it was just a very tough double. So now it is there for Phil.
To get himself in front, he started the day 8-5 behind. And now Harrison has the lead and 3 away from winning this match. Still thought we were back in the last 16 when it's first to 13, but it is first to 14 now.
First lead today for Phil Harrison. Missed an 8 ball to get that lead earlier on. He's fought back and done it again. Certainly the stronger player today. Fascinating exchange there, but over the whole session so far, he has been the stronger player, and he's won 6 of the 8 frames that we had this morning.
Frame 22. 12 rounds to break. Leading 11 frames to 10.
Chance to extend for Phil then. Same red and yellow have come back together on the same area of the table.
Nice angle on this ball though for Phil Harrison.
Yeah, it's a pretty controllable shot as well. Should have a choice of a couple of balls after this.
And that's absolutely fine for Phil.
Just the one nearest the cushion being the slight problem ball left.
He has been incredible, apart from that one just misjudged black. this morning. Harrison's just been in extraordinary form. Farmer's obviously renowned for going to work very early in the morning, and Phil Harrison no different.
Could play the double here, but he's got the angle to come back behind the yellow.
Ian Ali will be sat there now, hoping and praying that Harrison pulls off this shot and misses this yellow down this rail.
He might.
And I'll tell you what.
Didn't get on it as well as he wanted to. And the problem was that to get really nice on it, he almost had to risk the middle pocket. You know, that would have been the line the cue ball was on, so you get a little bit tentative.
Yeah.
And then you leave it. We're talking a few inches further away than he really wanted to. And he missed it because of that. It's still a surprising miss for me.
Lovely control there from Ali. Had to punch that side to manufacture an angle, and he did. Can Ian Ali dig deep and find something in the tank for this run?
Well, we know he
home?
can. We know he can. He's done it before. Many times.
And is that yellow that Harrison just missed there going to be a ball that we look back upon?
He's made 2 mistakes in the session, hasn't he? And both of them have been very big. Essentially 2 frame balls. He wouldn't have missed that 8 ball had the yellow fallen in.
Great shot there from Ian Ali. This 8 ball essentially would be levers, with these two playing a best of 5 now to see who goes through into the semi-final.
70 minutes of play, although not quite, because they didn't. They played out in the session last night. But about 70 minutes, 22 frames, but it's come down to the next 5 frames. Both players need 3. We're going to have this in all quarterfinals. You just feel this is coming. Quite incredible.
Frame 23. Ian Ali to break. 11 break.
Reach the stage in the match when who has the break advantage could be a factor. If we see all, and that's a brilliant break from Ian Ali. If we see all 5 frames, Ian will break 3 of them. Great layout, this.
Yellow ball's in play.
Really, really good layout, especially on the back of the mistake from Phil in the previous frame. This was the time for one of these. Phil sat in his chair and he can't even get hope from a layout like this.
It's amazing. I mean, we've seen Phil Harrison probably playing some of the best pool he's played for years this morning. And if Ali takes out these balls, he's still in front.
Yeah, came in with that 3-frame advantage, and
Yeah.
2 mistakes from Phil have cost him 2 frames, and whilst he's won the session or winning the session 6-3, those 2 frames are massive.
Just the simple stuff now for Ian Ali, and he will just edge in front once again of Phil Harrison. He'll be 2 from home.
Ian's won 4 frames this morning, 2 break clearances and the 2 counters off Phil. You feel like he's played all the pool. It's Phil Harrison, but he's behind. Still got 3 more quarterfinals to come, and they're all tight. They were tighter than this one coming in. John McAllister holds a 7-6 advantage over Sean Story. Craig Waddingham by the same scoreline over Chris Melling. And it is 6-all between Aaron Davies and Christophe Lambert. They were a frame short of completion last night. Good break from Phil, but how good's the chance going to be? Not great. Far from it. Just watched your opponent have a roadmap finish, and you're thinking, please give me one of those. Anything but.
That yellow slid off the red, hit the jaw, not gone in. A look to the heavens there from Phil Harrison. He's had to weather a fair storm this morning, as Ian Ali, but the clouds seem to have gone. The sunshine is coming out on Ian Ali. He still has a lead, and he's just 2 away from the finishing line.
They squeeze to a plant. As big as they have, yeah, they can be made for sure.
Well, he has the yellow available at the top of the table, but he's kicking into the red. There you just see he's looking at the angle. He wants to hit this red as thin as possible and then come off that top rail and back past the black.
Oh,
well, he's missed a pot.
He forgot about the pot. Only good news here for Ian Ali is he tied the 8-ball up. But that was a really good chance to go on, on the hill.
He's put everything into making sure he contacts that red half ball to come back. And like you say, Simon, he's missed the pot, forgot about it. Harrison forgetting he'd used his extension. He stood there, and when he heard the beeps, he said extension. And he said, you've already had it.
Throws his bottle on the floor in frustration. Oh dear. I mean, he knows this isn't easy for Ian, but he's just gifted him another chance. That was a big error from Phil Harrison, a very big error.
And that has turned out very nicely there for Ian Ali, that bump. Had to go into it, but that could not have fallen much better. And for all Harrison's fantastic work this morning, Ian Ali on the verge of going 2 ahead and getting himself on the hill. When you don't really think he's played much part this morning in the match.
No, Phil was so good. for so long this morning, but he's going to be on the brink here if this 8-ball goes in, and of course it does. Ian Ali, he's one frame away, and what a mistake that was from Phil. Just completely lost awareness of where he was. Had already used his extension and was the wrong side of the table. Did well not to foul in the end, but didn't change the outcome. So he's got to win 3 straight to turn this one around. And what's frustrating for Phil there is that 2 of them will be off Ian Ali's break if it was to get that far. Ian will have the next break. Phil may not play another shot in the match.
Frame 25, you know, it's a break. We need 13 frames to 11.
Monster break. And a good layout. Every ball goes.
Either colour.
I think this just shows how, you know, we talk about Ian and his ability. You know, he plays a lot of big money games, which are deep races. His ability to sit there and take punishment, because Phil Harrison threw everything at him for half an hour this morning.
Including the kitchen sink.
Including the kitchen sink. And he just took it. He took it, and now he's back on the front foot.
And if he makes his finish, he actually finishes the match the 3 frames ahead that he started the morning with.
Yeah.
Which is quite incredible. Big shot there. Got rid of that. Did not want that as last ball because it's a lot easier to track the cue ball down for that 8-ball by just landing past the yellow that's over that middle bag in that big gap. And that was where he will be intending the cue ball to be in 3 reds time. Make that 2 reds time.
One more good cue ball. This one's over. And he's got the cue ball he was looking for. Simple 8-ball for a spot in the semi-finals. It's Ian Ali that's the first man to book himself into the semi-finals of the Masters. What a session of pool we have just seen. Phil Harrison threw everything at Ian Ali, but he could not be rocked. And he responded in style. And he's into the semi-finals. More of that, please. We've got plenty more to come. We're going to see all the quarterfinals over the course of the next few hours. Stay with us. Plenty to enjoy.